Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ali bin Muhammad Rodi. Today, my group and I will be presenting our case study on risk assessment using hierarchy analysis. The purpose of this presentation is to analyze an industrial incident by applying the hierarchy method, which stands for hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control. Through the approach, we aim to better understand the hazard involved, evaluate the risk, and propose effective control measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. For introduction, risk assessment is a fundamental process in industrial safety aimed at preventing accidents and protecting workers, communities, and the environment. Among the commonly used methodologies, the hierarchy framework, hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control provide a structured approach to recognizing hazards, evaluating the associated risks, and implementing appropriate control measures. The objective of this study is to analyze a recent industrial incident using the hierarchy method, identify hazards that contribute to the event, evaluate their risk level, and propose control measures that could help prevent similar occurrence in the future.
Hi, my name is Iskandar Zulkarnain, and I would like to present further on the case we chose to do risk assessment on. We chose to do a case about an incident that occurred on April 1st, 2025, where a major gas pipeline owned by Petronas exploded in Putra Heights, Subanjaya, Selangor, Malaysia at approximately 8:08 a.m. The rupture created a massive fireball and blaze, with flames reaching up to 20 to 30 stories high. Emergency responders battled the blaze for several hours before it was fully extinguished. Preliminary findings pointed to pipeline rupture and ignition of leaked natural gas as the primary cause. Unfortunately, the explosion caused 145 injuries, including severe burns and respiratory issues. It also damaged properties up to 237 houses and 399 vehicles. It also occurred at a residential area, so it displaced at least 150 residents and left a large crater at the explosion site. So this is the hierarchy table that we form based on the incident that discusses about the hazards, risk, and also risk control during the incident. The first activity is the gas transmission through high pressure pipeline. The hazard caused by it will be pipeline rupture due to corrosion or fatigue. The possible effects of this hazard will be respiratory distress. The existing control at the time was only routine visual inspections. The risk level of this is 20, which is considered high. Next activity is pipeline located near residential areas. The possible hazard is community exposure in case of leak. Based on last slide, it caused at least 150 displacement of residents. This is due to respiratory problems, disruption of housings, possible unwanted general public on the scene. The existing control at the time was basic safety perimeters such as fence and signage. The risk level of this is 15, which is considered high. Next activity is vehicle or industrial activity near pipeline. The possible hazard caused by this would be ignition of leaked gas from spark, static, or hot work. The possible effects of this would be vehicle damage, property damage, and fire spread. The existing control at the time was limited no smoking signs. The risk level of this would be 15, which is considered high. The fourth activity is emergency response to gas leak or fire. The hazard is delayed evacuation, ineffective firefighting. The possible effects would be worsened burns, injuries, or escalation of fire. The existing control at the time was only fire units on standby. The risk level of this is 12, which is considered medium. The last activity would be pipeline maintenance operations. Workers will be exposed to high pressure gas. This could affect uh, this could affect burns, inhalation of chemicals, and smoke. The existing control was only basic PPE, which involves helmets and gloves. The risk level of this is 8, which is considered medium. Continuing from that, this is the matrix risk level table that shows the risk level of each activity. The red is considered a high risk level, the yellow is medium, the green is considered a low risk level. So based on the hierarchy table discussed, the first to third activity showed a value of 15 and higher, which is considered a high risk level, whereas the fourth to fifth activity only showed a value of 12 and below, which categorizes them as a medium risk level. So that's all from my part of the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Akisuhat bin Shahrum, and my matrix number is 24-2011-252, and I'm going to talk about finding and recommendations. The hierarchy analysis evidence demonstrate the incident is due to various technical and organizational failures. The main hazard identified were failure of pipeline integrity and controllable buffers due to inadvertent ignition. For the key recommendation includes firstly, engineering controls, incorporate remote pressure and leak detection systems, automatic rapid isolation valve, and pipeline must be designed with casing blast protection. Second, administrative control, prepare and impose strict maintenance of the pipeline, build emergency plans for the community, and supervise emergency plans to neighboring community members. Last but not least, PPE is for responder. Firefighters must wear protective firefighting clothing and use appliances must be kept at a minimum working heat. So for the conclusion is, the case of the Putra Heads pipeline explosion shows the incredibly powerful impacts of a poorly managed hazard. The hierarchy method also shows that any combination of engineering controls, auxiliary administrator, and appropriate PPE could have reduced the probability and magnitude of this occurrence. The lesson almost every case study draws is the proactive assumption of what risk to anticipate during any kind of work. For engineers, which is a very low bar, injecting an element of hierarchy and hazards, everything also restores a vital part of engagement expected to be kept with the most important part is safety of the workers. Protection to people from the community and work on the restoration of the heavy industry. So that's all from my group. Thank you very much. And so that's all. Bye-bye.